me this. Aron, you make popular YouTube videos, you've got millions of hits, and you don't know the basics about instrumentalism, realism, constructive empiricism, selectionism, constraints. You don't know none of this.
Philosophical, they're not interested in philosophy.
So if you're not interested in philosophy, why are you talking about metaphysics? Why are you talking about the existence of God? Why are you dismissing all of philosophy of science?
I specified scientific
And by the way, listen, here's the thing. If you understood the philosophy of science, you wouldn't be making the statements you're making now. That's all I'm saying.
And all I'm saying is, he's saying that,
Sorry?
all I'm saying is,
Is what?
you are wrong. Still.
Yeah, so who's Aron Ra?
Right. So the thing is, look, Aron Ra is, I would say, the most popular internet personality when it comes to debating on the topic of evolution.
Fair
right?
enough. Yep.
So he'll have, he's got so many videos on it. Even if you look up a niche topic like the evolution of morality, right, you're going to get Aron Ra's videos, right? So scientifically, when it comes to the understanding of biological evolution and this type of stuff, he's not dumb.
Yeah.
Right? He's actually a very intelligent guy, although he looks like a crazy biker. Yeah. He is actually quite intelligent.
Yeah.
And if you actually watch his content in terms of understanding what's happening within evolutionary biology, I would say he has a very good understanding. Now, in terms of as a popular figure, he's got something like 40 million hits on his YouTube page, 200,000 subscribers. He's shared, like a panel with Richard Dawkins, Michael Hunty. So he's up there.
Yeah.
And he's obviously quite important. Now, when I initially started, putting out some lectures and talks about evolution, one of them, one of the talks was actually put online. I was going to give a talk at Coventry University, and famous atheist guy comments a lot on our stuff.
I was there with you then.
Yeah. Do you remember? So he basically was like, he's trying to get me to basically have a live hangout with Aron Ra and have this discussion. And I absolutely hate live hangouts. Boring. Yeah. It's just two people. You only see someone's nostrils, and they're like, "I disagree with you."
But you actually went to see him in person.
Yeah, I mean, alhamdulillah, basically, I went to Texas and we went to go see him, and we had a debate, and initially he made a refutation of the content of the video that I put up, and after that refutation, I was like, okay, so we need to have a debate. And so we had a debate, and then he came to the park, and we bumped into him. Yeah. The thing is, look, he's an important guy, and he's an intelligent guy. He's not a dumb guy. But the reason why he's making the mistakes he is, and the reason why I disagree with him strongly, is because he doesn't have an understanding of the philosophy.
Sure. Before we go, now you mentioned mistakes. We mentioned mistakes. He made mistakes on the day. Give us a summary on what the most fundamental mistake he made on the day was that we just watched in the clip.
Sure.
What we getting at here? Because remember, he's been watched and followed by hundreds of thousands of people online.
Sure.
Many people, his followers, may be watching this right now.
Yeah.
They may be a bit confused. He's seen as an authority on the subject, yet in the park that day he didn't seem to hold his own. He seemed to be all over the place. He seems to be confused on certain points. You caught him out and corrected him on several things. So what was the fundamental mistake that he made?
Okay, so first, before we criticize him, let's look at the positive side,
Yeah.
You've
been quite positive already.
Yeah, so he admits when he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Right? So for example, when I say, okay, what about this? He's like, well, I don't really care about that. I don't really know.
Yeah.
So he doesn't pretend to know, and he doesn't give this view. He's quite honest like that, which is less praiseworthy.
It's commendable.
Yeah. Now, where we disagree and where he needs to actually find out the fundamentals of the philosophy of science is he believes in Darwinian evolution.
Sure.
Okay, if he calls it evolution, fine. We'll stick to what he's saying. Evolution. He believes in that. Okay, he doesn't like the word belief. He accepts that is the way things are, right? Now, he's got lots and lots of videos on this. He's written about this as well. He's got a book on this as well. He told me by email he's working on another book as well. So, look, he clearly understands this particular field.
Yeah.
He does understand it. However, for him to make claims about truth, for him to make epistemic claims, you have already crossed the boundary of biology into metaphysics, not metaphysics, into philosophy.
Yes.
You've just done that.
Yeah.
You've just done that. Now he doesn't want to, and you can see in the video, he doesn't really care.
Yeah.
Right? I don't care what you're talking about, realism, this, that. I don't care about philosophy. He just cares about science. That's the problem. Because for him to believe that, okay, this is true,
Yeah.
that Darwin is, evolution is true,
Yeah.
in terms of natural selection being the primary, in terms of all this stuff, if he believes that to be true,
Yeah.
then he's basically making a claim about the way that the world actually is. Now,
Sure.
within the philosophy of science, there are two broad camps.
Hmm.
The first camp is that of realism. Now, realism simply says this: scientific theories actually represent the way the world actually is.
Okay.
That's what scientific theories do. So a scientific theory, when it says this is the actual structure of the world, this is the actual entities in the world, these are actual processes in the world, they are referring to what's really out there.
Sure.
Instrumentalism, which is the other camp, says we can't say that. We can't say a theory actually represents the way the world is.
Okay.
We have to be agnostic about that. Scientific theories are instrumentally useful.
Right.
They make predictions, they are confirmed, and over time they get revised and changed and discarded, and you get new paradigms and so on.
Sure.
So we can't say it's true. We can say maybe, maybe not. We're
Yeah.
agnostic about it,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Now that's instrumentalism. He didn't know the difference between the two. Now that's a big problem, because compared to, if you imagine the amount of attraction he has when
Yeah.
it comes to speaking about the topic of evolution, the
Yeah.
debates he does, the talks he does, the books he's written, then you would expect him to know these fundamentals.
Yes.
But he doesn't.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, not only doesn't care. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care. You can see the videos. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really care. And that's the biggest blunder, because when I actually explained to him the two views, briefly.
But tell us why he should care.
Okay,
Right.
why he should care is because he's making truth claims. He believes he wants people to accept that the tree of life,
Yep.
that the Darwinian mechanism
Yeah.
is really out there. That's what
It's the,
works.
it's the reality.
That's
basically.
reality.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, he is a scientific realist.
Realist, yes.
However, when I explained the two views to him,
Yeah.
which is, instrumentalism means we accept what science says about observables, we're not unobservables, and, I explained this. He said, I said, which one are you? And he said, instrumental. I'm, I think I'm an instrumentalist, something like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute. That means all your videos in which you're talking about evolution, this, and, natural selection that did this, or all these types of things, right? You're basically pushing out realism. Yeah, when I explained the two views, you said, I think I'm an instrumentalist.
So what we're saying here is that he is conveniently crossing the borders from realism to instrumentalism.
No, he's not.
Okay.
He's basically making it, and this is why the video was, I think, quite embarrassing for him.
Yeah.
If he understood what actually happened, because maybe he doesn't really care. But from a philosophical point of view,
Yeah.
he made a huge blunder, because he's pushing out the realist narrative
Yeah.
without realizing he is in the realist camp.
Yeah.
When it came to, when I explained the two views, he said, I'm an instrumentalist.
Yeah.
So he just completely undermined all of his previous stuff.
Right. Which is problematic.
It's
obviously.
hugely problematic. And the funny thing is,
Yeah.
he didn't really care. He's like, I don't really care.
Which is a bigger problem, because he's an authority
Yeah, he's an
amongst
authority.
many people that are watching his videos online. Now, let me ask you another question based on what just happened, and him as an individual and his views. He's an atheist, obviously.
Yeah.
Right. He believes in the Darwinian mechanism as a fact.
Yeah.
Right. He wants to push this view.
Yeah.
Right. Why is it time and time again we see individuals like Aron pushing this view as if it's an absolute fact, when he, being an expert on the topic, I'm sure he knows that there's differences of opinion amongst the experts X, Y, and Z. So why is this happening over and over again? Why, are they not informed, or are they informed and just keeping that aside and just deliberately pushing this view?
So I'm not a mind reader.
Yeah.
I can't tell if what his intentions are, what the intentions of a particular person is.
Yeah.
My hunch is
Yeah.
he's just totally ignorant of philosophy.
Sure.
I actually don't think that he is one of those type of people that is deliberately trying to push out something that he knows to be false.
Sure.
I don't think
So
he
you're
has that
saying he
character.
doesn't know when it comes to the experts in the field.
When it comes to what science can achieve,
Yeah.
can it achieve truth with a capital T?
Yeah.
he's ignorant.
No,
of
that's fair. That's
Yeah.
you clarified already. But I'm asking specifically when it comes to what the experts say within the field of science, evolutionary sciences,
Yeah.
and the different views, and things aren't as crystal clear as they make it out to be on a popular level.
Yeah.
Is he aware of that? Do you know? Or?
He's not aware of that, I believe, because when it comes to issues of the philosophy of biology,
Yeah.
in particular, not just general points about science,
Yeah.
philosophy of science, he also seems to be ignorant of that,
Right.
right? And for example, when it comes to major figures in the
Mm.
philosophy of biology, like Elliot Sober,
Yeah.
I remember when I used his name in the debate, he first thought, okay, this guy's more believer, so obviously he's going to say that. I said, no, actually he's an atheist. But
Yeah.
thing is, look, Elliot Sober's like a very big figure
Yeah.
in the philosophy of biology. And he is somebody that if you know even say a little bit about philosophy of biology,
Yeah.
you have to have known about him because philosophy of biology hasn't been around that long. It's a relatively new field.
Yeah.
And he is one of the main guys that's written the papers, whose main textbook is used at universities for this particular topic. But he didn't know.
Right.
So, he's not malicious. He's not like, let me push out this narrative that I know is wrong.
Yeah.
I just think he doesn't know.
Yeah.
But he should know because the guy is like, huge online.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Then he should know these things.
Yeah. So that takes me to my.
And it's not unfair, by the way,
Yeah.
for me to expect him to know those things.
Yeah. No, of course.
And maybe a general
Let's face
person.
it, most of us are ignorant of a lot of things. Right?
Yeah,
We
no,
don't
that's
know.
fine. But
Yeah.
look, say like Mohsin sitting there playing on his phone,
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect Mohsin right there to, know the nuances of theoretical conservatism in science,
Yeah.
right? And how that impacts, innovation.
I wouldn't be
right?
surprised if we did, but I
I wouldn't be
see the
surprised
point.
if he's,
I see the point you're making.
If he's listening to us right now. But listen,
Yeah.
I would expect him on the minimum
Yeah.
as a media guy
Yeah.
to know the difference between a floppy disk and a CD drive.
Right.
I'd expect him to know that.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to question him.
I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't.
Yeah, but I would expect him to know that. Why? Because media is his thing.
Yeah.
Now, if he was some young guy who knows nothing about media and
Yeah.
was born after the year 2000, right? The CD drive, floppy drive, what the heck is that? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's different. Aaron is too big of a figure
Yeah.
within the atheist community to be ignorant of
On this particular subject as well.
Absolutely.
Because that seems to be the main trend of his channel.
Absolutely.
He seems to be specialization, right? If I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
No, it is. Yeah.
So to wrap,
I mean, by the way,
Yeah.
that is, if you watch his videos, that's what he speaks about.
yeah. So to wrap it up, for Aaron and for those people that may have been following him and seeing him as that ultimate authority, what other references could you give them to individuals they can read up, who where they can get more of a holistic sum of information from?
What I would point at is that, look, pick up a general book on the philosophy of biology. There isn't actually many.
Yeah.
So you'll come across John Dupree, Elliot Sober, Peter Godfrey Smith,
Yeah.
a few people, and because it's a relatively new field,
Yeah.
you pick it up, you'll start to realize, okay, you've got this, you've got that. I mean, a good book is Evidence and Evolution by Elliot Sober. That's a very good one.
Yeah.
So, you get that. Now, you may pick up the book and you may be like, oh my God, it's all this, like, it's really confusing, or what's this, or what's that.
Yeah.
So you may get put off. But
Yeah.
what I would say is, on the minimum, when you even attempt to read that stuff,
Yeah.
the first thing you're going to realize is, hang on, this is a lot more complicated than the simplistic general way that I've been taught.
Yeah.
This is a lot more damn complicated, and there's a lot more things going on. There's ad hoc, rationalizations, there's assumptions, there's sub-assumptions, there's counter evidence, there's oh my God, there's so much going on. There's so much discussion. Okay, so it's clearly not as simple as, hey, look, we got this, that thing evolved.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this natural selection explains that, peppered moth, boom.
Yeah.
Right? They understand, no.
There's a lot more going on.
There's a lot more
So
going
just to wrap up, one final point I want you to quickly touch on. Everyone watching this, we've
Yeah.
done 2 episodes now on the whole sort of topic of evolution. They're watching you, they're looking at a bearded guy, they know this guy's a Muslim, right?
Yeah.
They're probably interested. Fine, you know your stuff, you've done your research. But as a Muslim, how do you reconcile evolution with Islam, right?
Right.
Now, if you could, I know it's a big topic, maybe you could do a separate video, but just if you were to summarize this in an elevator pitch, in a 30-second, 1-minute summary, how would you do that? Because that may be a barrier for some people.
Look, I'll put it this way. There's no need for reconciliation.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's not generally understood. Why is that the case? So we have independent reasons why we believe the Quran is the word of God.
Yeah.
We have independent reasons for why we believe in God. We have this belief in the fitra, the natural state that human beings created in, that they don't even need evidence for God.
Yeah.
And God, even though there is evidence, they don't even need that because it's just within them. Now, you get that very, very powerful base from which you have the spring of the Islamic belief system.
Yeah.
So you have that. On the other end, you get science, which came from the Muslim world,
Yes.
which has been used by Muslims throughout the centuries as a way of, the way some Islamic scholars have described it is you have the world,
Yeah.
which is the book of God, and you have the Quran, which is the book of God, right? So you get a book which has closed covers, right? It has its covers that we read, which is the Quran, but the actual word of God is also the world, because God said be and it is, as it says in the Quran, the world was. So, God created everything, and the natural processes which exist, the different systems that we have, all of these things are complementary.
Yeah.
So this whole idea of, okay, there's something in science, how do you reconcile? Well, if we understand the philosophy of science, we know that it doesn't give you absolute certainty.
Yeah.
It's an attempt to try and apply reason to the world and try and come to
Understand it the best you can.
understanding it the best way we can, but it can always be revised.
Yeah.
And the Quran is making claims which are certain,
Yeah.
and evolutionary biology is making claims which are temporal, which can change. So for example, if we go by a purely mechanistic, naturalistic understanding of the natural selection, then the words of Richard Dawkins, we will accept that the highest rationale for our existence is to pass on our genes.
Sure.
Right? That's the highest rationale. But Islam says no. Islam says the highest rationale is to worship the Creator who created you and gave you reason to recognize Him.
Yes.
Right? So, there's clearly, they don't have the same weight. Science as an epistemic, in terms of its epistemic weight, doesn't have the same epistemic weight as the Quran. So we can accept anything in science as valid science, but we don't have to accept it to be literally true. There may be things in the Quran which completely contradict if we take science to be literally true.
Yeah.
So here's a powerful example, right?
Yeah.
From a scientific perspective, the virgin birth makes no sense.
Yes.
Absolutely no sense, right? But
You mean the virgin birth of Jesus?
Jesus, peace be upon him, right? Makes no sense.
Yeah.
However, from a Islamic point of view, it makes perfect sense,
Yes.
because God created the world, and God can change anything at any given moment. So God can create using a mother and a father, without a mother and father, or just a mother, right? God can do whatever,
Yes.
right? It's nothing difficult for God. So science is giving you, obviously, this can't happen, this can't happen, this can't happen. But okay, we have reasons to believe this is true.
Yes.
We have reasons to trust that science is a good thing, and we should actually acknowledge that this is also a something which gives us knowledge.
Yes.
If there are things which are in conflict, we don't have to do like a reconciliation. Let's try and superimpose the science on the Quran, or the Quran on the science. We can just say we'll accept it as valid, we'll accept it as scientifically the best explanation we have naturalistically, but we don't have to accept it to be literally true. And we work within that paradigm, we contribute, because look, at the end of the day, biologists, right? I'd like to end upon this, because it's a very important point. Biologists aren't sitting around, evolutionary biologists aren't sitting around in labs and just going like, rubbing their hands. How do we get those religious people to disbelieve in God?
Yeah. You don't have the time for
how
that,
how do we theologically confuse them? They're not doing that. I mean, I've been to scientific labs. I've met scientists, right? They are not doing
They're
that.
just interested in doing the science, basically.
They're interested in not just doing the science. They're interested in saving lives.
Yes.
They're interested in finding the next penicillin, right? They're interested in longevity of life, the comfort of life. They're interested in those types of things. They may be believers, maybe theists, maybe Jewish people, maybe Christian people, Sikh people, whatever, right? They're different. They're not like all scientists are like atheistic. That doesn't exist either, right? They're just people trying to contribute to make the world a better place. However, the biological world has become a battlefield between theists and atheists, and this leads to atheism, that doesn't lead to atheism, and this is this, and this is this, and social Darwinism. It shouldn't be that way. And that's why I believe Muslims shouldn't be going around saying, let's challenge Darwinism, replace it with intelligent design, let's do this. I think it's just superfluous. Yeah?
Yeah.
There's no need for that. Let the scientists focus on what they should be doing, saving lives,
Yeah.
and don't use the fact that atheists use biological evolution to try and disprove God or say religion is false or this and that to now join them in the battlefield.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a scientific lab, and you're scientists doing your work, and I go in here and I start a fight with you, and we just both start like having this theist debate in this science lab. No, it doesn't belong in the science lab.
Yeah.
Do the science, have the theological discussions outside, and realize biology is biology, theology is theology, right? So don't cross over the two.
Yeah.
When you cross over the two, you get poisonous biryani. You get something ridiculous. It's like, I don't know, Weetabix with kidney beans. It doesn't make any
Biryani
sense.
being a rice dish eaten by many Pakistanis.
If
and
you
Bangladeshis,
do not know what biryani
I'm sure everyone
is,
knows what biryani means. On the top point of biryani, let's wrap this up. Maybe we'll do future shows going into, again, like we said, specific points. Thank you for coming on, bro. And everyone watching, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell. Also, if you go to my description box, we have Subboor Ahmed's channel, Darwinian Delusions, listed there. Also, not forgetting our beloved cameraman today, Dawa Digital. His channel is linked in the description too, if you guys want to watch content more related to Islam, so on and so forth. So, till next time, take care. See you later.